and campaigns are about winning. Over the last 4 years, we lost the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency. That has not happened in a single 4 years under a president since Herbert Hoover. Now, if we plan to win in 2022 and 2024, we have to listen to the voters. We had economic policies that were working. So if that's the case, and we can speak to those policies to those families, then we'll win. But if we idolize one person, we will lose. And that's kind of clear from the last election.
As Mitch McConnell likes to say, winners make policy and losers go home. That was Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, who voted to convict former President Trump for incitement of insurrection, warning yesterday about the impact of his party's continued embrace of the former president. He also said he doesn't believe Donald Trump will be the Republican presidential nominee in 2024. Joining us now, former Republican Congressman Carlos Curbelo of Florida. He is an NBC News and MSNBC political contributor. First of all, Congressman, happy birthday. We did not realize we were asking you to get up so early on your birthday, so thank you very much for kicking it off here with us. Let's talk a little bit about what you saw at CPAC, what the president didn't do. There seemed to be a chunk of the crowd that actually didn't want to see him run again in 2024. I was, yes, 68% said, of course, but I was surprised that that second number was so high.
Well, Casey, good morning, and thank you. Thanks to you, I get to have a really long birthday. Woke up early to do this interview, and I appreciate the opportunity. But, you know, I agree that in many ways the Trump appearance yesterday, after over a month of silence, there was so much anticipation for it, and it kind of fell flat. He seemed old and tired, and his message was certainly old and tired. And yes, he had his fans in the room. But when we think back at the old Trump rallies, the ones that we had become accustomed to, this really was kind of a letdown. And while Donald Trump continues being the driving force in the Republican Party, the biggest figure, certainly there is a sense that he is on the decline, that people are kind of moving on. And that's dangerous for him because he's someone that in order to be effective has to be the center of attention all the time. Everything has to be focused on him. So I think Donald Trump is really going to struggle to regain his footing here in the next few months. However, that doesn't he is still the most relevant person by far in the Republican Party.
Well, and to pick up to that very point that you make, I mean, I was looking at the straw poll results, and the challenge, of course, is that you can't beat somebody with nothing, and that will hold true in a Republican primary as much as it will in a general election. And all of the other, I mean, Ron DeSantis was way up there. We should remind people this was actually held in Florida. So he probably is more familiar to a lot of those people down there than he may be to the rest of the country. You also saw a Kristi Noem pop up. She has been someone who has, I think, been successful in channeling some of whatever, you know, all of the things that President Trump brought to the table. But I'm also interested in your take on Mike Pence, very bottom of the list, 1% after 4 years of being incredibly loyal to the president, now apparently being punished for doing the right thing at the very end.
That's right, Casey. And it's also a reminder that the Republican Party is still, in some ways, a big fan club for Donald Trump. And Mike Pence is someone who Donald Trump cast as someone who was disloyal to him, who did not do the things that Donald Trump asked him to do. And of course, Donald Trump is someone who demands absolute loyalty. If you cross him one time or if you disagree with him one time, you're on the outs. And certainly his supporters follow people. And that's why so many Republicans are still fearful. People say, well, why don't they speak out? Why do they keep following Donald Trump? Well, look at what happened to Mike Pence. This man was super loyal, there every day for the president during 4 years. And before that in the campaign. And then he refuses to participate in this scheme to steal an election, essentially. And now he's on the outs. He's no longer a member of the club. So again, we have this dichotomy right now where Donald Trump's popularity, his relevance seems to be on the decline, but still he owns the Republican Party. And that's why Vice President Pence isn't doing as well as he used to do with some of these Trump Republican voters.
Yeah, it's important to underscore that it used to be that CPAC would be exactly the right crowd for Mike Pence. I mean, I've been covering him since he was thinking about running for president, 10, 11 years ago, and these were always his people. And to think that the former president, was back on stage talking about what happened after Pence himself stood up, did the right thing, said, no, I'm not going to support not certifying this election, only to have insurrectionists come into the building and chant, hang Mike Pence. It's really just remarkable and stunning. Former Congressman Carlos Curbelo, thank you, as always. Enjoy the rest of your very long birthday.